You're watching HCAM TV. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Friday, May 29th edition of the Hopkinton Hangout Hour. I am your host for this half hour, Matt Clark. And today we're going to be getting into a subject that is near and dear to my heart. We're going to be doing a little mini Geek Week episode, and we're going to be talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Last year in July, I released the first episode of Geek Week, where me and my two guests today, Sam Churko and Alex Kershey, thank you both for joining me today. We talked about the upcoming release of Spider-Man Far From Home and what we wanted to see out of, and what we hope to see out of the MCU going forward. And now, almost a year later, we know a lot about what's coming up in the MCU post Avengers Endgame. And well, there's a lot to talk about. So why don't we get into that? Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, if I could just ask you guys to like fix your cameras so your headroom is good and everything, that would be great. And
How'd I do?
that's perfect. And awesome.
Thank you for having us on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
I can't believe it's been almost an entire year since the first episode of Geek Week.
Almost. We filmed it in June, so almost exactly.
Whoa.
Yeah, it took me a few weeks to get it out, but I did manage to get it out days before Spider-Man actually released in theaters. So.
Very good.
So I think one of the biggest things that I wanted to do this episode now is the first movie post Phase 3 of the MCU is supposed to be Black Widow, and that was supposed to come out at the beginning of May. But because of the pandemic and everything, it didn't come out yet, and it's currently scheduled to be released in November. I think that's a little optimistic for movie theaters.
I don't agree with you. I think movie theaters will be open by then. I think that that's not necessarily what should happen. I also think that it is my official public statement at this time that I will not be going to movie theaters in November, but it is my private belief that if movie theaters are open in November, will I go to them? I don't know. No, be safe. Be safe. I don't know. Be safe.
Yeah.
It's too far out to necessarily make a decision
it could be a fundamentally
May.
different world in November than it is now.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think that the October Batman
months.
is more optimistic still.
Well, that's 2021.
But it was October this year.
No.
But was it supposed to come out this year?
No, it wasn't. It was supposed to come out next
Why
summer.
did they delay it? Oh, because they can't film it.
Yeah.
We don't have a trailer, do we?
No,
Like,
we just got
anything.
we got the first teaser of
We were supposed to get a trailer around now, but because they had to delay filming of some aspects of it, I think they probably weren't able to get enough footage for a trailer.
Yeah, we have the first teaser images of Robert Pattinson as Batman.
I did see
That's
that.
not the point of this episode, but his bat symbol might be a gun, and we're not sure about this.
Yeah, we'll see. That's been a
What?
theory.
If you look really close at his bat symbol, it looks like it's made out of a gun. And the theory is that in the new Batman movie, the lore is going to be that like whoever killed Batman's parents, spoiler for Batman. We're going to be very serious about Batman after this, but whoever killed Batman's parents, that he got the gun from them, and that he fashioned the gun into his bat symbol as like a symbol. The thing is,
That's
I've looked at it a
wild.
lot and close to see if I think that that's what it looks like. And frankly, I don't really, like, I see why people feel
Yeah,
that
I
about it,
agree.
but I don't, like,
haven't
it
seen
doesn't, I wouldn't even say I don't think that that's what it is. I would just say
Look it up.
that it doesn't look like that to me. Like, I can't, like, it looks kind of like that's what it could be. But that's also, again, not what this episode's about.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, and in the last episode we
Oh, it totally
a whole
is.
lot
Wait,
to
looking at it
talk
again,
about.
it totally is. It's exactly what it is.
Okay.
Weird. All right, keep going.
Well, so like I said, Batman is DC, and as much as I love talking about superheroes in general, we should keep it on track to the MCU. So we've heard a lot about what movies are coming after this, and more than movies, TV shows as well. Disney Plus shows and non-Disney Plus shows. I think there are some, maybe not. Maybe I'm misremembering.
There was supposed to be. So because Disney owns Hulu and ESPN, there were supposed to be Hulu adult animated Marvel shows.
Yes.
I believe those are still premiering on Hulu. So there are still going to be Hulu and Disney Plus shows.
Mm-hmm. Well, so let's talk about those. The movies that were supposed to come out this year, we were supposed to have Black Widow in May, and that's likely all filmed already. It certainly is. And then, and everyone knows Black Widow. If you know the MCU, you know Black Widow. She's been around since 2010, and she's been in every Avengers movie and pretty much half of every other movie.
Has been a staple. Yeah.
Yeah. She's one of the 6 original Avengers in the movies. Something that people might not know about, and I actually don't know really anything about, that was supposed to come out in July, is a new movie called The Eternals. And Sam, you see
Eternals? Was Eternals due this July?
It was.
So was it delayed to next year?
Yes, everything. Nothing was canceled. Everything was pushed back.
Well, yeah, because the Eternals is already filmed.
But
I mean, if not entirely, at least largely.
Well, no, we are fairly confident Eternals is filmed because, okay, this is an insane way to know this, but so Kumail Nanjiani was in ridiculous shape for the Eternals and has filmed movies since where he allowed himself to regain some body fat, which means that they must have finished filming those movies.
I saw an interview with him yesterday where he's still.
Oh, you know what? Maybe they filmed Lovebirds in the transition to him being as fully shredded as he could have been.
It's possible.
I don't know.
Because he was talking to Colbert or somebody like that, and he's like, "Yeah, during the pandemic, I'm keeping fit because I got it." So
as well, right?
It feels good.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But timeline wise, it doesn't add up as much because I don't think we've even seen anything promotional wise for the Eternals.
Well, it would have
expected Kumail.
I mean, here's the thing: is it would have started last month.
No, it would have started earlier than that. The July movies normally come.
February,
we can't. Trailers? I genuinely feel this. I think that we cannot use the observable trends of the previous phases of Marvel for these next phases of Marvel because of how weird they are. The original release date of Black Widow would have required them to air a commercial because the original release date was when?
May
4th or something?
8th?
Maybe late April, but it was, I don't remember the exact date.
That would have mean that there was only June and July for the Eternals to have commercials if they waited till after that movie was aired.
Except they've never done that before.
Well, yeah, but again, I think that we cannot use those observable trends because we're starting to get into more standalone and weirder elements of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which means that there's going to be, I think that the airing trailers 6 months in advance thing is going to be phased out more the closer we get to this type of thing. But I think that there is a case to be made of the fact that the Eternals would likely have had a trailer before then.
Yeah, that's my point. I just don't know if Disney and Marvel are going to pass up an opportunity to promote a movie based on a group of characters that the average person, and even me who is really into superheroes, though admittedly I do mostly know superheroes through the MCU, doesn't know anything about and has never heard of it.
Guardians of the Galaxy trailer.
Which is a good point of comparison because the Eternals and the Guardians
came out in February of that year. February.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but February to August is about the distance we're talking of early May to July. If, as I believe, we would have actually gotten a trailer mid-April. I think we would have gotten a trailer a half month before. Yeah, I think we would have gotten an Eternals trailer a half month before Black Widow came out, or even maybe a full month before that movie came out. This is not necessarily the most riveting content, but I don't know. I think that for what it's worth, from only the perspective of the movie getting more time in post, if it is already completely filmed, the Eternals being delayed to February is probably big picture good. because the movie is going to require a lot of post-production, most likely,
Yeah.
like a lot of post-production, which is part of the reason why I think it is already fully filmed.
Yes.
Because I think that having a post process that led them right up to July would have made sense for that movie.
Probably.
But again, it's really impossible to tell because a lot of the problems with why movies got delayed was because of the way movies are literally made, like in terms of how close to a movie coming out certain elements are filmed.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, if you compare it to movies that were shot back to back, a lot of movies that are shot back to back, the first movie is being edited as the second movie is being filmed because they're filming them at the same time, which puts a lot of weight on directors that are shared in those movies. And also is why, like, in the Matrix movies, the post-production process on the second movie was more difficult than the post-production process on the first movie.
Yeah. Well,
Why,
Sam,
first
sorry.
post is better.
Yeah, sorry, Alex. Sorry to cut you off. Sam, do you want to? I want to move on a little bit just to what else is coming up. Do you want to just tell people what the Eternals are about? Because you seem really excited about them.
Yeah.
I love the
So
Eternals.
I quite like the Eternals. It is my understanding, and Kirsch, correct me if I'm wrong, that the Eternals are a group. They're another cosmic-centered group. So they're a space group made by a group of people we've already seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Celestials, who are those.
Who knows what they'll do with that, by the way, in the MCU? Because I have a theory they might change it. But
okay, so the gold people
I've seen a
from
few of
Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they're known as the Celestials, and they, correct, yeah, and they in comics.
No, it's
created- am I wrong?
Ego, the Living Planet is a Celestial in that movie.
Yeah. Okay. What are they called?
Yeah,
They
gold
are
people
called-
something different.
The Sovereign.
The Sovereign. Okay. So Celestials, not the Sovereign. I apologize. Create
Fine.
the Eternals, who are these like super powered, like really juiced up cosmic saviors, and they I don't know how akin to the Guardians they were in terms of goofiness, but based on the cast and based on like the just what little we know about the film Eternals, it looks like it's going to be in a similar vein as Guardians.
Yeah, part of the like
comedic and light and
I would say like deliberately sort of. I would say the best point of comparison will probably be like Aquaman, but where there's this like which again I'm the only one that's seen in this group I think, but so I won't say anything about that movie. But there's like a there is a because they're like essentially cosmic gods that are also superheroes. There's like a mythologically tonal difference, but the cast would imply and like the choices that are made would imply that they're at least going for a sort of different tonally movie than we're used to seeing, which I'm very excited about. Fun fact about the creation of them, they were originally intended to be a DC property. Jack Kirby, when he left Marvel in the 70s, was writing something called The New Gods. And he was writing it, and it was written and it was coming out, but then it got canceled and he left and returned to Marvel and then made the Eternals, which was essentially his attempt to sort of rewrite what he had written and be allowed to finish it. Which is which I did not know until just now. Interesting fact. But the Eternals are sort of a widely varied group of superpowered alien gods, essentially.
They're space superheroes, and it's going to be. I had such high hope. I was very excited for it. I love summer Marvel movies and watching them with you guys. And that's one that I was really, really looking forward to seeing because the cast, if you don't know, and I don't want to say too much, is wild.
Yeah. I have some bad news about other things coming in the Marvel Cinematic Universe or adjacent to it, as the case with the Hulu shows that we talked about.
Oh. Did they cancel stuff?
Yes, but they canceled stuff in January. Their intention was to do MODOK, Howard the Duck, Tigra and Dazzler, and then the Offenders and Hitmonkey. And Hitmonkey, Tigra, Dazzler, Howard the Duck, and MODOK make up a super villainous like anti-hero team called the Offenders, which is a play on the Defenders. But only Hitmonkey and MODOK were continued, and very sadly, the Howard the Duck, Tigra, and Dazzler and Defenders plots were canceled and dropped.
At least Howard the Duck actually exists in the MCU.
Yeah, the MODOK show though has
Showed up
quite
in
the
Endgame.
cast.
Does it? Did it?
It has a really good cast. MODOK has a really good cast.
Okay.
Who plays MODOK?
Patton Oswalt.
Oh, that's so perfect.
So good. Would have been his second appearance in the MCU. And I love him so much.
Black Widow, I think, is going to be good. I think it's going to be weird. I think it's got the people that I know that are in the cast, it's extremely stacked. I don't know, nor do I want to know who a couple people are playing in that movie because I know that people are in it, and it's like a carefully held secret who one person is playing because my friends are trying to save me from knowing who that one guy is, and I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, you'll have
but
to.
We're not getting into it. Florence is in it, which is extremely important because Florence
Really?
Florence who?
Yeah, Florence Pugh, baby.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm sorry. I thought you knew. I thought you watched the trailer to the movie.
Yeah, but it's been a while. Playing who?
I'm not going to say that. That's something I know that I shouldn't say.
I'll look it up.
Yeah,
okay,
go ahead.
Florence Pugh and Rachel Weisz and Scarlett Johansson all in the movie. Very, very good.
Yeah, that movie's going to be crazy. And of course, Taskmaster is the villain. And for people who don't know who Taskmaster is.
Don't tell me who's playing him. I actually don't know.
I actually don't know who's playing him, but I can't release. I think I read it at one point, but I can't recall off the top of my head. Taskmaster is a villain who has an eidetic memory, and he is capable of perfectly replicating any fighting style he comes across.
Yeah.
So he's typically like a Captain America villain, if I recall, and he's just really hard for any characters to fight and beat. In the comics, I believe it's only Deadpool who really beats him because Deadpool is so unpredictable.
He also likes setting up weird tasks for people, hence why he's called the Taskmaster.
There was an issue of Ant-Man a little bit after the Ant-Man film came out where he fought him and beat him, which was funny.
Ant-Man fought him?
He's in Marvel Apes. Fun fact for anybody wondering about
what is he? What is he?
I don't remember. Let me find Marvel Apes Taskmaster. Marvel.
Okay. Well, Marvel, for people who don't know, Marvel Apes is an alternate universe Marvel comic where all the superheroes are ape and monkey themed.
Yeah.
It's very fun.
Yeah, it's just a goofy thing like Marvel Zombies they also did.
Yeah. It's not in the films yet, but I'm sure we'll see it someday.
I doubt Marvel Apes. I think that if the owner of Marvel Apes ever shows up, this is my actual thing is because I do think that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to go wackier. I think at some point we're going to get like maybe it's in Doctor Strange, but I think that we're going to start like encountering a bunch of like multiverse versions of characters very briefly. Yeah. So there might be like a 4-second clip of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That's like one of the few humorous moments in the movie where like we see Doctor Strange in a world with a bunch of people and he's like, have you seen whoever's the villain of that movie? Have you seen Shuma-Gorath? And then it's like, he went that way. And it's like Gorilla Cap saying that.
Mm-hmm. I'd love that.
That's actually a good way to get into one of the things I wanted to talk about because there's a bunch of movies, sequels and new movies that have also been confirmed, and I want to get into what those are too. One of the other things is Disney Plus shows, and of the Disney Plus shows we know there's The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, there's WandaVision, there's a Loki series, and the one that I think I'm most excited for is the Marvel What If series.
Oh yeah,
very good.
Which
it's gonna be weird.
What If is a series of one
shot.
That's
still in production, by the way. They didn't ruin
it. It is. It very much is. I believe it's animated.
It has a trailer.
Yeah, because we know who's.
Oh no! And the trailer confirms something they're doing. Ooh.
Yeah. So, Marvel What If is just a series of comics that have been released for years and years. I don't know if they still do it, but I know it at least was a thing for a long time. Where it's a single comic or maybe a series of comics that asks, what if, I don't know, does someone have a good example? I can't think of one off the top.
What if Spider-Man had Iron Man's powers?
So yeah, sure.
It's like, what if Tony Stark had gamma radiation, I think is one of them.
Yeah, what if Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four? What if Captain America didn't vanish during World War II?
Yeah. So the series is going to explore some of the what ifs of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The one that we know of is Alex,
Say
I don't.
No, I know. Go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead. I
you
think
do
I
know
know
it?
anyway.
Okay. Is what if Peggy Carter was given the super soldier serum instead of Steve Rogers? So it's what if Peggy Carter becomes Captain America, or probably Captain Britain? Now that I think about it, because she's a British character,
There's a theory
You're
they might do.
right.
There's a theory they might do Marvel Zombies on it.
and that's where I was going with this because we were talking about Marvel Zombies and Marvel Apes.
I don't like
And-
Marvel Zombies for what it's worth, but we're not getting into this.
Well, Marvel Zombies is just what if a zombie virus broke out in the Marvel universe?
And it's a huge bummer for what it's worth.
It is a huge bummer because
Oh, of
everyone
course.
dies. But
they got like everybody who's
Yeah.
in the MCU who returns, even though it's animated, to voice themselves. Like literally everybody, I think, that they're bringing back. Because I mean, of course they can. Like that's something they can afford to do. But wild. I hope they do
It's gotta be
Marvel Apes
cool.
though.
I think it would be funny, or like even if it's just a throwaway scene in Doctor Strange, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is another one of the new movies. We did skip a movie that's coming out in between that and Eternals, and that movie is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings,
Mhm.
which
Did
is starring.
they make Shang-Chi into a TV show? Because I heard
No.
that they might have made that.
No, I mean I
Into
think
a
he's
TV
been
show.
in
I
some of
hope
the
not.
animated shows, but I don't think they gave
Well,
him
I
a
mean,
TV show.
TV shows are sometimes better because they're much, much longer.
Right.
Yeah,
I think
one
a
can make the
Shang-Chi
argument that
film-
we've seen more of Daredevil in the MCU than we've seen of Tony Stark.
I mean, I'm glad that Shang-Chi is.
Time-wise, that is
A
accurate,
movie.
right?
It is. I
Because he's been in 4 shows, whereas
and like 3 seasons of his own show and like an hour of each episode.
Yep,
Yeah, it's a
3
lot.
of his
Makes
own,
sense.
1 of Defenders. We've
on.
seen Charlie Cox more than we've seen any other actor in the
Yeah,
MCU.
which is really just crazy to think about, especially consider that Marvel's not making those shows anymore. But I heard they might get resurrected on Disney Plus.
I mean, they're going to be resurrected on Disney Plus as soon as Disney has the rights back for them because
Yeah,
they currently could do shows with those characters, but they couldn't do shows with those actors as those characters
That's
because of rights strangeness.
Yeah.
What am I thinking of? Thor: Love and Thunder also is between those.
And that's the last movie they've officially confirmed. That and those 5 movies: Black Widow, Eternals, Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange, and Thor 4 and the Netflix and the Disney Plus shows that I mentioned. That encompasses Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 4.
There is a
Now,
suspicion
my questions. Oh, go ahead.
that the Spider-Man sequel is going to also be in Phase
Yes.
4.
Yep.
But that Black Panther 2 and that the Captain Marvel sequel will be in Phase 5.
Those were my 2 questions.
Alternatively, also in Phase 4.
Yeah, I did forget about Spider-Man. That was not announced at the Disney event
D23.
last summer where they announced also a Hawkeye series, but that's in a little bit of an iffy place right now because
The reasons we probably shouldn't talk about.
Yeah.
Although they made a Cloak and
It's bummer
Dagger
reasons.
show. They made a Cloak and Dagger show, which
And I
that's
didn't see
unrelated.
it.
I
And
always
I-
forget about.
Wait, they're making a Hellstrom show?
I mean, one of them's from. Oh, and what about?
Guys, they're
and-
making a Hellstrom show.
I don't know if Alex knows about
The
this. I
other
don't
the
wanna
other
say it.
shows? The other shows?
They're making a Marvel Hellstrom show.
Huh. Wow, really?
Yeah, with with
What about,
Damon and Satana Hellstrom.
Now
what about
there
that?
was another movie with a trailer, another Marvel movie with a trailer that was announced.
With a
Really?
I
trailer?
don't know. Yeah, it's the Morbius film.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
No.
but that's Sony's.
no, that's a Sony film.
Really?
yeah.
Yes.
It's not MCU.
No, it's
No.
not
or-
MCU.
Also, weird that the
What about
Blade
Blade?
movie. Weird that we know
Um,
about Blade. Weird that we know about Blade, but it's not in the release schedule.
Blade is MCU. They've confirmed that. Morbius is part of the Sony and Venom
The
verse.
Sonyverse, yeah.
The
By the way-
Spider-Man without Spider-Man verse.
Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, has a release date.
Yeah, I'm excited for that movie. Just
Spider-Verse
just
2 got pushed back.
yeah.
Sorry, Matt.
It's always good for an animated movie to be pushed back, though. It's it's the only type of thing that it's never bad for it to be pushed back if it's got a good script,
Yeah.
which is the better clarification, of
To
course.
answer your question, Sam, whether or not Morbius exists in the cinematic universe is weird for a lot of reasons. One of which I don't want to say because it's kind of a spoiler in the
Oh,
trailer.
they did announce more TV shows, by the way.
I watched the trailer. It's been a while, so I don't remember it
Yeah.
exactly.
So according to Sony, those movies exist in the MCU, but according to the guy who runs the MCU, they don't officially exist in the MCU. So that's complicated. We'll see how that turns out as those movies come out. But there are also a bunch of more shows coming out.
Because we don't know if the Hawkeye show is ever going to come, but there's 3 others that were announced to like as not with as like we know that like What If's going to come out next year. We know the Loki's going to come out next year. We know WandaVision comes out this year. Falcon and the Winter Soldier comes out this year. But
one of those other new shows, one of them is my favorite Marvel hero.
Yeah, we've got Miss Marvel.
One of them is Miss Marvel. One of them is someone I've been wanting to see for a long time, She-Hulk. And the other one is something Sam mentioned that he was looking forward to in the first episode of Geek Week. So Sam, if you want to take, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I'm pretty sure. Is it Sam Wilson? Because I always talk about Sam Wilson.
No,
a new.
It's one of the TV shows they announced.
New hero.
Oh
no,
my
memory is so bad.
Oh,
it's definitely one you wanted that you wanted.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we've definitely talked about this.
I forgot that. Is he getting his show?
That's what they said.
Getting his show, like literally confirmedly getting his show.
So Moon Knight is one of my
Moon Knight
duck show, but you know,
Moon Knight is I always flip flop favorite or second favorite with Sam Wilson, the Falcon, as favorite Marvel hero, and Moon Knight people have been like chirping the name Moon Knight for like years, saying
years now,
movie show, and I'm so hoping that it's good and that we get it. Moon Knight, just a reminder, is people refer to him as the Batman of Marvel Cinematic Universe because he has a rich background in terms of wealthy rich and like lore rich. He's got gadgets and he dresses in monochromatic colors. He dresses in all white, whereas Batman dresses in all black typically. Nocturnal crime fighter in New York City. So pretty similar to Batman. However, the big difference is that Moon Knight has dissociative identity disorder and alternates between several different characters being Moon Knight. So great. Mark Spector is a very well-written, especially recently well-written character in Marvel. I cannot wait for him to show up.
For what it's worth, the guy who is confirmed to be the head writer and of the Moon Knight show is the guy who wrote The Lazarus Effect, The Exorcist, the 2016 one, Pet, the new Death Note show, and who created the Umbrella Academy TV show version. But most importantly, wrote 2015's Fantastic Four, and this is the saving grace of that, wrote the script of it where Mole Man, Galactus, and Doctor Doom were in it, and then they completely ruined that script for what the final movie was.
Oh, yeah, because the original version of that movie was actually going to be good.
Yeah, Mole Man was in the movie.
Well, actually, that's one other thing. Disney bought Fox Entertainment a few years ago, and with that, they brought the rights into the MCU for the Fantastic Four and also the X-Men. And we know they're going to be making a Fantastic Four movie. They haven't said what they're going to be doing about the X-Men.
But just that they are going to be doing something.
Just that they're doing something with mutants.
There's rumors that X-23 from Logan's going to show up. So,
wait, the Logan X-23?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that could possibly be true.
No,
though.
it's not. But
that doesn't add up lore-wise. But
no, those are the conversations.
Unless I mean, they can use Doctor Strange to make all of these things happen.
That's
Doctor
fair.
Strange movie can be
Thanks,
the main
Dr.
reason
Strange.
why everything happens.
Okay, guys. Unfortunately, guys, I have to call it here. We are out of time. So thank you so much. As obviously there is a lot to be excited about coming in the next couple of years for movies and on TV as well. So I'd like to thank both of you so much for joining. And we're going to get into Tom Nappy now with his guests. So once again, thank you guys so much. And Tom, why don't you take it away?
Thank you very much, Matt. And joining us momentarily, we will have Jared Keene from the Metrowest Daily News. I also have Mike Tarosian here. Mike, how you doing?
Well, fantastic, Tom. How about yourself?
Very good. And we will be talking about some sports with a sports writer, Jared Keene from the Metrowest Daily News. We hope to have him here soon. But some of the topics we are going to talk about today, once Jared gets here, is the NHL announced a return plan. They're going to head straight into the Stanley Cup playoffs, a 24-team competition. And that might have been Jared entering.
Yep.
There he is. So Jared Keene joining us, and certainly looking forward to catch up with him, but he just has to get his camera and microphone going, and we'll be off and away.
Well, there's his mic.
Jared, you there?
I'm here.
All right. If you could just hit the little camera in the corner of your screen.
He's got it on. Let's go.
Oh, there you are. How you
There
doing?
I am. What's up, Tom? How you doing? What's up, Mike?
Hey, Jeff.
Doing well. How about yourself? You've been busy at all writing?
I'm hanging in there, man. I'm just trying to keep busy. Yeah, just doing what I can, and trying to just try to stay busy each day, and
See, the only sports that you can write about right now is what, NASCAR and golf?
What?
The only sports you can write about now would be NASCAR and golf. Right?
Something like that,
That's all we got left, I think.
Hopefully not for too much longer, though. We got some soccer right now. We got some more soccer coming back, and
Yep.
There's the NHL stuff going on. So,
Which is what we were just talking about while we were waiting for you. So, what's your thoughts on that? The 24 teams.
well, first off, I mean, I'm a big hockey fan. I love the sport. I was actually born in Canada, so kind of hockey is in my blood a little bit, even though I never really played. But I love the game, and to have it back is going to be outstanding. I'm not quite sure this is kind of the way of going about it. This format is a little bit. I'm not sure what the right word choice is here, but it's kind of ridiculous. But I mean, I'm glad it's going to be back, and looking forward to seeing obviously what the Bruins can do, kind of post quarantine and everything. And again, yeah, I'm not really sure about this format. I think 24 team kind of playoff thing is a little bit out of sorts, a little out of whack. But it is what it is, and I mean, I guess whatever to kind of get the sport back. You got to do what you got to do.
I think what I found exciting about the 24 teams was basically giving us more hockey to watch because nothing else to watch. So I was excited for that. Was I happy with 16? Absolutely. But when it comes to 24, that now, all right, granted, no fans. Hopefully we're going to have a place that we could watch it together with some adult beverage and have a good time. I see that helping things out. But I'm loving the fact that they're only choosing 2 venues to play at.
Yep.
So it's I'm gonna call this the John Smith bubble on the East Coast and West Coast. You just have teams rotating in and out of there,
Right.
And so I think that's gonna give us a lot of hockey to watch.
No, definitely. And I mean, the more hockey to watch, the better. There's nothing like playoff hockey.
Right.
Playoff football is outstanding. Playoff basketball is outstanding. But playoff hockey, I think, just kind of sort of hits differently. Just the emotion is higher. The guys are really upping their game and kind of a little more intense. And, when you see a playoff hockey game played at a high level, to me, there's nothing really that kind of tops that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. And hockey is not my number one sport. I came from a basketball family. Football is number one for me. But when it comes to playoff hockey, there is nothing like it. I could care less who's playing who. Of course, I always want to be the Bruins in there. But I will watch whatever playoff game is on because it's just amazing. It's the action is incredible. It's intense. And, a lot of people hate me for this statement, but when you have the Winter Classic, that's a great game. It's outdoors, especially when it's snowing. But without the fans being as close like they are at a real game, banging on the glass, with the fans being way far away, it just really doesn't have a good feel to it without the cheering like that. And I'm afraid of the playoff hockey might be a little less intense without that fan there.
Well, I'd imagine they're going to pump some noise into those arenas. Maybe they'll have the dummies in the stands.
Well, maybe they're going to have fans zoom in and just have the audio just piped into the stadium.
No, there you go. I think we'll see some unique stuff, especially if sports returns with no fans.
I agree with you, Tom. Tom, what's your take on it real quick?
Well, I think I understand why they're doing a 2014 format. There's really no point in continuing the regular season. It was almost over anyway. There was 10 or 11 games left for each team.
Yep.
So why continue the regular season? Just go right into the playoffs. And the playoff hockey is obviously a tremendous atmosphere. And one of the best things about it is anybody can beat anybody. And I think the most interesting thing about this tournament is going to be it's going to show who's been staying in shape the most during quarantine.
Yeah.
Who knows what these guys are going to look like? Obviously, they'll be a little bit rusty, and they got to get right into playoff mode. I think it's going to be really interesting. I'm hoping it happens. Hopefully, they can figure everything out. It won't be the same that we're used to with the no fans and all that, but I think as sports fans, we are all anxiously awaiting something.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, here I was. The last thing I ever want to watch on TV is golf, and unless I want to take a nap. And here I am, was just enthralled by the match with Brady and Peyton Manning playing golf. You know, it was, and I think what was cool about that is they had cameras and mics everywhere. It felt like you were on the course with them in the golf cart. That beautiful eagle that Brady chipped in was unbelievable. It was really good, and it was fun to watch.
And there was a lot of people watching that. Believe it or not, it was the most highest rated watched hockey event ever on cable of golf. On cable. About 6 million people were watching that. They raised $20 million for some great charities.
20 million plus, yeah.
20 million plus, yeah.
It was an unbelievable event. Highly entertaining too.
I was locked in, man. I'm a big golf guy. I play. I'll watch it. Like my fellow Daily News staffer Tommy Castle, who's also a big golf guy. I was just locked in though, man. I wish the weather was a little bit better and could have had a little bit nicer kind of conditions and, maybe try. But I mean, Tiger played outstanding.
Tiger was great.
Oh, yeah.
Tiger's game was outstanding. Peyton Manning was impressive. Brady obviously wasn't too impressive for
the most part.
He reminded me he was at my little league, charity thing.
Most of the front nine, he was pretty awful. For sure. I think probably the pressure got to him a little bit, and he does obviously deliver in pressure situations, but obviously not on the golf course.
Sure. Even his pants couldn't take it.
And I love Phil Mickelson. I'm a lefty actually, so Phil Mickelson has always been my favorite golfer.
Yeah.
He just seemed like a delight to be out on the course with, and obviously really kind of embraced everything. And I also thought a very underrated part of it was Justin Thomas serving as kind of an on-course, reporter. I thought Justin Thomas, who's obviously a fantastic golfer in his own right, was outstanding as an on-course reporter, kind of shot the shit and, kind of joked around a little bit and was kind of joking around with Barkley, who was doing commentary and everything. And
Charles Barkley is the man.
Oh,
he is the man when it comes to, and him and Brady going at each other was awesome.
Oh, that was awesome. That was awesome. And then Brady goes in and dices one up from whatever 125 or 130 or whatever that was.
It's like it was nothing. It was like nothing. And I had to stop and pause and then show that again. It took him forever to show it again. I couldn't believe it went in.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best part of it is you had 4 tremendous personalities mic'd up.
Right.
And you're listening to them the whole way. And then, of course, you get the commentary of Charles Barkley. It was just awesome. Great personalities. Ended up being a great match. It was Tiger and Peyton taking it by 2 strokes.
2 strokes, yeah.
So Brady kind of did heat up in the back nine, kind of like he does in the second half of football games.
Well, there was that great hole. There was the great hole where Mickelson drove the green, hit an absolute cannon, and then Brady made the eagle putt from just off the green. And that was that was, that sequence was amazing right there. You get a guy hitting a massive bomb to the green, then you get Brady stepping up and confidently draining an eagle putt. And
well, you know what it is? Brady's not used to golfing too much in January and February because he's usually playing. he doesn't get as much practice at that.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping maybe we'll see some more events like that, maybe in different sports to raise money for those great causes. And
I had kind of a thought on that real quick, Tom. For the next match, I wouldn't mind seeing maybe like Tiger and Phil team up. Instead of playing against each other, Tiger and Phil team up and play against like, McIlroy and like Ricky Fowler or something. Kind of the veterans against the young guns or something. So
that would be very interesting.
That'd be a great match.
Yeah. I can see it happen. I mean, as long as you have the personality from that sport, it's gonna make it fun for the general audience. Not so much of course the golfers love it because they're like, oh, look at that Brady. Yeah, someday I can be playing with him at a charity event. But you're also looking at, fans like myself. I watched it, and you ask anybody that knows me, I only put it on if I need help sleeping. I will not watch golf. And I was glued to the television set. And it's not maybe part of it was because the lack of seeing any sports for 3 months. I think that was it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think, myself, I would watch just about anything. I was flipping channels the other night and I was up late, having trouble sleeping. There was Korean baseball on. I checked it out for a few innings. Yeah, it was nice to see baseball.
I've checked a little bit of that out. Yep.
One of my favorites to watch, but it's only the highlight reels, is cricket. Because I don't know if you know.
Wow.
Cricket's a lot of fun to watch when you're watching the highlights, all the good stuff. But if you ever a cricket match can go on for a full day. 24 it's happened. Cricket is a long, long day, and there's a lot of dead time in between. And I had a roommate who's from New Zealand, and his father every year would send him all these highlight DVDs of the season. And we'd watch them. And I tell you, what an amazing sport.
Oh, it is.
But I could not watch. I tried watching a game up in Ashland at the old at the Warren Conference Center. They now have a cricket pitch out there by the tennis courts, and they play on the weekends. Oh, and wow. I watched one, and it was like, no, give me NASCAR first. I'll take NASCAR.
When I lived in England for a year, I tried playing it, and I kept getting yelled at for swinging the thing like a baseball bat.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Nope. You got to swing a certain way, kind of an underhand type of swing. It's a crazy sport.
It's like you're going after. It's like going after that low inside curveball. That's how you have to swing all the time.
I can't say I'm too well versed on cricket, but I've seen a little bit of it, and it definitely seems like a little bit of a crazy sport. So,
but getting back. Oh, sorry, Jared. Go ahead.
No, go for it, Tom. Go for it.
Getting back to the golf event, though, some of the best times during it was when Peyton and Tom were going back and forth. When they were asking Peyton in the beginning, who do you want your if you could have a caddy, who would it be? And you're saying, I don't know, maybe Gronk. He will take a year off and then come back, play in Tampa Bay, or maybe Belichick. I'd love to have Belichick be my caddy.
Oh, wow.
And then Brady was asked about Peyton or about the conditions because it was raining. And Brady goes, well, Payne's usually a dome quarterback, so I don't know how he's going to do in this type of weather. It's just some great stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. That just shows you how much, great guys they are. But, they still love to give. They still, it shows the competitive, even if just playing a simple charity game.
Right.
Guys, I know this is a little bit off topic real quick, but I've never been more excited to get a haircut. I went and got a haircut the other day. I've never been more excited to get a haircut, man.
I went to my friend's house. And she offered to trim me up on Monday, and Yes, I sat down and I let her do it.
Attaboy.
I got one from the mother. My mother gave me a nice
Oh,
haircut.
wow,
She did a
Tom.
great
Nice.
job. Yeah.
Oh,
I had
I see she still uses that bowl around.
Yeah. She used to be a hairstylist back in the day, and she had to watch a couple YouTube videos, but she did a good job. So I'm happy with
Attaboy.
it.
Love
But
it.
yeah, it felt good. My hair was getting ridiculously long, and
I-
it was getting tough to deal with, especially with the hot weather.
I was a lacrosse player, so I can say this, but I had that very like lax bro flow. You know, I had my hair was so long on the sides and
Curl it
getting a
up
little
under the
ridiculous
hat.
on the top, and you know, I was just like, man, I need a cut. And you know, I found a place. I live in Hudson, and there's a place here in Hudson that I hadn't been to, but that my dad had been to a bunch, and he kind of talked it up a bit. And you know, I saw they were open and taking appointments. I was like, all right, I got to get in there. I got to see what it's all about. And man, was I happy I went. So, you know, yeah, just really excited to get a haircut, man. Never been more excited.
It's looking good. Looking good.
All right, so let's talk about baseball. You know, baseball. Here we go. Just all right, forget about the fans. I mean, how much faster do you think baseball is going to go now that there's no fans, there's no sunflower seeds, there's no what do you think? You think we're going to see a game in an hour and a half? Forget about the commercials. I'm talking about real play.
I don't know about an hour and a half, but
yeah, I mean, an hour and a half
is faster.
Is kind of pushing it a little bit. But...
Well, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase this. An hour and a half of actual play, not an hour and a half game.
Right.
I'm talking an hour and a half of play where it's normally, 2.25 hours of play. I'm talking about an hour and a half. I think we're going to see it sped up here because it's like, you know, I think the commercials, the TV people are going to want to squeeze in as much as possible to make up for things. So I think the TV timeouts will be, you know, quicker. You know, I mean, of course, the inning change, but I think you're going to see faster pitching. You know, just like my favorite, Little League Baseball. I love it when Little League World Series is on TV.
Well, unless they got to wipe down the ball between every pitch.
Oh, that, yeah. I mean, well, they can't throw it back. Is it just, are they going to put a bucket of balls at the mound and just have him pitch them and he just tosses them off to somewhere? You know, how do you do it? I mean, granted, no spitting, no tobacco, which is fine by me. They should have got rid of that tobacco years ago. But no more sunflower seeds, no big league chew.
They should get rid of mound visits.
Mound visits, yes, Tom, yes.
Replace it with what? Bluetooth? Replace it with Bluetooth.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Why not?
Why not? They might as well use it for something other than stealing signals.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I just saying.
Well, one thing that's been a big talk about baseball is obviously they have the proposal for the 82-game season, and that would only happen in certain locations, and there would be a designated hitter for both leagues, and I'm sure there would be some other rule changes as well. But the MLB Players Association, they're complaining that the players have to take pay cuts.
Yeah, like
it's unbelievable.
Come on.
It's like, and as Chipper Jones said, nobody wants to hear a bunch of millionaire baseball players complaining that they have to take a pay cut when 30 million people or so lost their jobs.
Right. Yeah. I
and
couldn't agree more.
And all the people that support them, all the people selling retail, all the people that sell concessions and whatever that don't have a job. They're not even taking a pay cut. They don't have a job.
Yep.
Right.
Why are they going to complain?
You know, now you got a bunch of minor leaguers that are getting like, you know, axed basically. You know, I saw Pawtucket, I think, released like 22 players or something. Or that's ridiculous.
Are we even going to have a team to come to Worcester? You know?
Well, I mean, that's not supposed to happen until 2021. This was supposed to be the
what I'm getting at is by losing all these minor league players. Yeah.
I don't even know if minor leagues are going to continue. It could just be major leagues, maybe with expanded rosters, if that's even possible.
Yep.
One thing I saw, and I don't have a lot of good things to say about this guy, but this was pretty cool. David Price gave every minor leaguer in the Dodgers system $1,000. So I got to give
awesome.
David Price credit for that. That's
Yeah,
really
That is
cool.
awesome.
They're doing something there, and you can't. I mean, look at all these. Look at the Cape Cod League, best summer baseball in the world.
Yeah.
Gone, and that's gone. These guys still have their job. They still want all their money. They didn't want to take a pay cut. I don't want to cut down my $3 million down to 2.5. Stop it.
I mean, you're playing half the season, number one. There's a virus pandemic. You know,
You still
you gotta be reasonable here.
I think they should cancel the season and no one gets paid a year.
Right.
Let them collect unemployment and let them get their $600 stimulus check.
That's
I
what it
agree.
could come down to. They could eventually just say, you know what? You're going to complain? We'll cancel the season. How about that?
Yeah.
You know, you just think about all financial issues. I mean, Tom, we talked about it last time. You know, I mean, and it's not even really, but
I think it goes beyond some of the financial issues. You know, I mean, obviously the financial issues are important, but you also have to think about kind of, you think about some of the strained relationships between a lot of the owners. A lot of upper class kind of, the upper tier people within baseball organizations. Especially kind of with the ones that are kind of high market and the ones that are a little bit low market. I mean, that's gonna play a big factor into it as well. And I mean, I think I don't know. I'm not really sure too much what to think at this point, but
right.
I just don't. I hate the idea of how these sports teams have come from, here's the one business and all the players are the employees. It's not like that. It is the owner of the team is the conglomerate who owns all these little businesses, the pitchers, the catchers, the first baseman, whatever. They're all little businesses, and they're not an employee. So no one wants to lose money. Of course not, but you're a business. You're suffering, you're not doing anything, you're not producing. You should take the hit.
Right.
And now, if it was like these AAA players who are getting paid, those, they're not businesses. They're hoping to be a business. But no, those are employees of a business. And by not being able to play and then being able to get some kind of unemployment relief, whether it's $1,000, whatever, that's showing good faith. But in the big leagues, they're all businesses. Everyone's taking the hit. Take the hit.
Yeah, and I think the thing about baseball is they are the most pampered guys out there. Yeah. When it comes to contract negotiation, the player has all the rights. And it doesn't matter how much they're injured. It doesn't matter if they perform terrible against what they were expected to perform. They're still going to get paid no matter what. It's always been that way in baseball. And there's so much guaranteed money. Pretty much most of the contracts in baseball is guaranteed money. And football, it's not that way. There's not a lot of guaranteed money in a lot of cases in football. A lot of it you have to earn. Baseball, it's all guaranteed. And all these players, especially the superstars, are making big bucks, and they have the nerve to complain that they got to take a pay cut. But meanwhile, they play half a season. There's a virus pandemic, 30 million people without jobs. Blows my mind.
I hear you.
I just, when you have the ability and the gall, I can't play because I sprained my finger, and you got people like Chara who will play with a broken arm, finish the game, and then finish the season, and then go have surgery. It's like, come on, guys. Enough.
Do you think NHL would complain about taking a pay cut?
No.
I think most of the players in the NHL would be ready to go.
And you have, the soccer players, and everyone kids about a soccer player, but you run out there for 90 minutes, you do get tired. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of running. But the ones that, the fouls, they get a little foul. Oh, they make it look blatant. They take the dive or whatever. That's exactly what baseball does. Oh, I hit my finger. Oh, I'm on the DL. I can't pitch for 3 games. Well, what's that in baseball? 3 games. Is that what, 2.5 weeks?
Right. Well, and the thing is, too, I think in most cases, they were only asking players to pretty much cut about a quarter of their paycheck. So they're playing only about half the season, game extra if you want to go there. And they did some spring training, and they're being asked to cut their paychecks down 25%. and they're complaining about
And
it.
it's not going to kill their retirement. Like, all these towns, cities and towns are asking fire, police, DPW, hey, don't take the raise next year because we're hurting or whatever. Well, by them not taking that raise, that affects them long term, 10 years down the line. Not in these situations. You take a pay cut for one season, help us out. You made money off of us all these years. It's time everyone pitch in and help. They don't want
Right.
to. Yeah.
Well, and it's not all of them, but the Players Association is obviously the representative organization of the players, and the negotiations aren't going very well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Jared, I know you are excited about the English Premier League coming back. They're coming back on June 17th after a 3-month break.
Yep.
I think people are just itching for sports, and I think this is going to be probably more of a hit in America than it ever was.
Tom, I agree with you. There's a lot of people obviously that don't like soccer, but there's also a ton of people that are enthralled by it, especially kind of in the EPL, which is, probably the most popular league in the world. I've been a big soccer fan since, since like my junior year of college. I first kind of got into EPL, that's pushing like 13, 14 years now. Sure, you might see a crummy game that's going to be 0-0 and not a lot of action. But I mean, those games that are 4-3 and somebody scores in the 90th minute and, those are just so exciting. And I mean, the level of play is so high. Dives are part of it, as Mike was saying, guys, faking injuries and everything. But, I think it's going to be, I think people are going to love it. I think just kind of having that back again, there's so many EPL fans in our country, especially particularly here in Boston in our state, everybody's, kind of big, a lot of big Liverpool fans.
Right. I'm sure you'll see all those games on Nesson.
I'm actually not a Liverpool fan. I actually support Liverpool's rival, which is Everton, which is the other team based out of Liverpool. But, and my dad is a Tottenham Hotspur fan. One of my best friends is a Manchester United fan. I think I think it's going to be, I think there's only going to be positives that come out of it. And I can't wait to have it back, to be honest with you. It's going to be exciting.
Can you tell us how the season was going before they ended up having that 3-month break?
Liverpool was dominating the Premier League. They were miles ahead of Manchester City, who was in second place. And, Liverpool was just dominant all season. They have a heck of a coach, Jurgen Klopp, and they have some fantastic players as well. I obviously don't like to see it. My neighbor is actually a Liverpool fan as well, but so they were kind of in control, and everybody else was kind of battling for kind of the rest of the spots.
Yeah, and I think again it's going to be interesting to see what do these players look like after a 3-month break. I'm sure they've been keeping up on their running, and soccer running is a huge part of training.
Yep.
So that's one of the things you can do while social distancing.
Yeah, and working on your foot skills, and for goalies, they can kind of work on different things, and I think soccer has been probably a relatively easy sport to try to keep up with your training and everything during a time like this, especially knowing that there was a good chance that it could come back. Not even just the EPL, but I mean, the German league, the Bundesliga, has been back for a couple of weeks, and the Italian league is going to be coming back a couple of days after the EPL does. So they kind of had to prepare for this and knew it was probably coming, and so I'm sure they've all been kind of maybe a little bit of a break and stuff, and kind of treating themselves, but gotta keep in shape and make sure you're up with your fitness and everything.
Yeah, we just hope everything that's coming back will stay back and all will be well. And we certainly hope to see the return of the NHL, and NBA is also working on something as well. And of course, baseball. But believe it or not, we're out of time. So Jared, I'd like to thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks a lot, Tom. Thanks for having me on. Thanks, Mike. Really appreciate it.
For Jared Keene, Mike Terosian, and the rest of the HCAM crew, I'm Tom Nappy. We thank you for tuning in to the Hopkinton Hangout Hour. You can watch it every weekday on HCAM TV and our YouTube channel. We'll see you Monday at 2 p.m. Have a good day, everybody.
Thanks a lot, guys.
We're clear.